Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Whitty's Gear Review. Today I want to let you know that this was sent to me by a company, and like always, I asked them if I could do an honest review on their product and tell people what I think honestly. And that product today is made by Wuben, and this is the E7 Lightweight Easy Carry Light. If you can see, all their lights they call the ECLs, which means Easy Carry Light. So just a quick look at the box. Not a lot to it. I've already opened this one so I can make sure I charge the battery fully. This isn't an unboxing per se, but I did want to show you what comes in the box and how it's packaged, just in case you're worried about how it can be damaged or anything like that. But there's the internal box. Just a picture of the light. You get some pretty in-depth instructions, and they're somewhat in color, but this is probably one of the easiest to follow for the user interface on exactly what the light does and how to use it. So, good little tool. And then I opted, I'm going to blind you right out the box. I opted to go with the green. Get a good look there. All right, and on the top, you have your user interface button, which is your on, off, and mode selections. Then in the back, or the top, I guess, you have your area for your USB-C charging. And some little quick information about this light I thought was pretty interesting is, so we'll start off with this light. The outside is made of an aircraft grade aluminum, so it's going to be pretty sturdy. And, you know, if you throw it in, you know, a toolbox or anything like that, it's going to be able to take a little bit of, a little bit of stress, a little bit of torture. And that's what we're going to do with it. You know, we're going to carry it all the time, and we're going to see how it holds up. Like anything, I'm pretty sure that, you know, the coating will rub off in time. Anything that's colored that's not like injection molded is usually going to do that. But this thing is 1800 lumens, but that's on its max setting, right? So everybody knows on a lot of these lights, or maybe not everybody knows, but on a lot of these lights, your max setting is your turbo mode, and you're not going to get a lot of runtime. So anytime you see a lot of things boasting, oh, it's 20,000 lumens, look at the runtime for 20,000 lumens. A lot of times that runtime will be like, some of them will have a question mark, some of them will say like 2 seconds. So you got to kind of go off of, you know, what it is. But if you need the turbo mode, super bright, you do have that. And we'll go over how long it'll last in that mode. But this is rechargeable. It's a mini flashlight, so it's super small. They're super bright. They've got 6 modes. It's got high, medium, low. Then you've got your turbo mode. Then you've got your strobe and your SOS. And it's also got a memory, so it'll go back to the last thing that, you know, you have. So if you like it to start off on low, then that's where it'll come back on. And another thing that I like about it is it does have a lockout mode. So you could press the button, and we'll go over the amount of clicks, and it'll lock the light. So if it's in your bag, in your pocket, in a tool pouch or anything like that, it won't come on and drain your battery unless you take it out of the lockout mode. Another great feature on these lights is it's internally IP68 waterproof rated. So even if you leave this back part open and drop it into in water, as long as you take it out and dry it off or blow it out or whatever, it's still going to work because the internal parts are waterproofed. So I thought that was interesting that, you know, it's internally waterproof. And these, you know, another thing that I like about these is they use the P9 high color rendering 6500K LED lights. And with those lights and the way that they're recessed in there, it's going to give you about 175-degree wide angle, you know, visual when you're looking out, when you're actually using the light. This light, when I charged it, and it's pretty close, it didn't take as long as it said. I used it, drained it, recharged it. They say it takes about an hour and a half to go from dead to fully charged. It took a little less than that, about an hour and 20 minutes. But I guess it depends what source you're charging it with, how much wattage you're going in. But on the light, it'll light up on the front here, red when it's charging and blue when it's completely charged. So you know exactly when you need to charge it. At any time using this light, guys, all you got to do is double click and you're going to go straight to that turbo mode. And if you go with 3 clicks, that'll start the strobe mode. So you go into your strobe mode, 3 more clicks, you'll go into your SOS. And then if you just hold, you'll cycle through all your modes. So low, medium, high, all by holding the button. And if you click this thing 4 times, it's going to flash. And now we're locked out. No matter how many times I press that button, it's not going to come on in your bag. You will have to 4-click it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it'll come back on. Now it'll come on anytime you press the button. And you can tell there we're on low mode. So I've got it set up on low mode to come on low mode by the memory. And I think that's pretty interesting. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got to turn it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll blink. Now it's locked out. Won't come on. So I think that's a key element to make sure that, you know, it's not discharging when you need it. Like if you're carrying it in a backpack, you're carrying it in a side pocket, you know, everyday carry bag, sling bag, toolbox, you name it. If it presses up against something else, it's not going to discharge your battery. Click it 4 times, you're back in the fight, and it's going to be bright again. And, you know, last for the amount of time that you need it to. Not really bright. It's going to light for the amount of time you're going to need it to. And on the bottom, you have your magnet. And this one, I think they upgraded the magnet on some of these because I think the magnet on this one is a little bit stouter than some of the magnets we have used before. So, short wiggle test, medium, harder. So it doesn't come off. That's a lot better than some of the other lights that I have where you kind of do the shake test and they just fall off, especially for ones that stick out this far from your work surface, right? Whatever you have it mounted to, when they usually stick out this far, usually when you give it a shake like that, they fall off. They're, you know, most of those are meant to be mounted this way, shining down, where this one's got the side lighting. So the only way that you're going to be able to look, like if you stick it on something to look down, is if it has a stout enough magnet to hang on there. Which, you can tell that one's pretty stout. So I do like that feature of the light. Now, if you're looking at modes, right? If we're going to shine this thing, double click it. Oh, well, we're in locked out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to double click this thing and we're going to put it in turbo mode, which you can see how bright that thing is, right? If we were in turbo mode, you're looking at about 1 minute of runtime in turbo. If we're going to go into high mode, which high mode is 400 lumens, if you go into high mode, you're looking at 1.3 hours of continuous light. If you're going to go into the medium mode, that's going to be 150 lumens, and you're looking at about 4.5 hours at medium. If you're going to go into low, low is 5 lumens, and in low at 5 lumens, you're going to have 60 hours of runtime. The strobe, it strobes at 1,000 lumens, so you're not going to have, a long runtime at 1,000 lumens. But the SOS strobes at 200 lumens, so you'll get more of that, 4-hour range, 3.5, 4-hour range if you're in the SOS mode of continuous running. One thing I will say about Wuben lights is they do have a good warranty. They have a 5-year warranty. I have not sent anything back. I do have a couple of other Wubens that I purchased myself. Like I said, this one was sent to me by Wuben with the agreement to do an honest review, which that's what I'm doing. Now, I will say on the belt clip, it is a little, in my opinion, one of the drawbacks to me is it does feel like it's a little flimsy. Now, I haven't worn it, carried it a lot, or anything like that, so I'm not saying that it's going to bend out of shape. But some of the others are so stiff that it's almost impossible to get it in your pocket without ripping your pants. And almost impossible to pull it out when you need it in a bind. I will say this one seems a little springy, but not that that is a bad thing. Only time will tell. The belt clip doesn't move. It is a deep carry, so you can put it in a pouch or in a pocket, and not a lot of it's going to be showing out of the top. It does have a hole for a lanyard, which, there you go. Right there. So you can put a small lanyard around it. You can put a slip ring on it so you can carry it, on a keychain, or hook it to the outside of a bag, to a D-ring, any molly strapping, anything like that. But I think it's a good little light. These things come in right now on Amazon at $23.99, so $24. But I think there's versatility in this light, and that's with some things that you could buy to go with it. If you choose, you could buy a headband to go with it, so that way you could turn it into a headlamp. It also comes with a extended tube where you could extend the tube out this far, and I believe you could double the capacity of your light. Look in here real quick. So I think you would be able to go with 2 of the bigger batteries instead of this one 18350. Let me look and see if I have one of those, and I'll show you. With the extension tube, you should be able to go with one of these. Yeah, I'm pretty confident you should be able to put 2 of these in here, which would get you go from 1100 milliamp hours to 2400 milliamp hours with buying the extension. I wanted to see something real quick. Let me see. I had an extension that I got with another light, and I wanted to see if it would actually fit, so we could kind of go over what the extension does, but I don't think it would work on this light. But we're going to try it. Let me see. Oh, it does. How about that? Not the same color, This isn't the extension tube that comes with it. This is the extension tube that I actually got off of another light. And it actually screws in there and it works. So the extension tube that would come with this would be more of the contour and more, you know, the color of the Wuben. But that lets you know how big it's going to be and what it would look like if you went with the extension. And then you're going to have double the battery life, which I think is, you know, good for carrying a small piece of lightweight aluminum extra to go with a bigger battery if you had the bigger batteries. If you were taking this thing, you know, on a weekend camping trip and all you had was a small, you know, solar battery pack to charge it with, I think the bigger battery would, you know, be a little bit better to not have to charge the thing as often if you're going to use it as a headlamp, or if you're going to, you know, clip it to your bag or to your shirt, which that's how this would have to be, right? You would have to clip it to your shirt. You could put it underneath, or, you know, underneath a hat, but all you're going to get is, you know, it flashing straight down. So if you put it on low mode, that probably wouldn't be too bad to shine the light down just to give you some ambient lighting. So you would have that option if you chose to, or you could stick it off to the side of your hat to give you some ambient lighting down. So it is an option. But one thing I do like is you don't have to cycle through everything to turn this off. You just single click it and it's going to shut itself off. Some of the cheaper lights you have to go through high, medium, low, strobe, SOS to shut it off. Or you hold down for 3 seconds and it shuts off. This one, whatever mode you were on, if we want it there on low, we click it off, turn it back on, hold it down. We'll cycle through high, turn it off, comes back on high, press and hold. It'll cycle back on low, press it again, shuts it off, turn it back on, we're back on low. So I do like the user interface with this. I think it's just enough to where it's not super complicated. It doesn't have all those cop lights, flashy blue, all those, even though there is a purpose for green and red. This one is just a straightforward, if you need, you know, lightweight, strong, waterproof, this is a great light with the flexibility of turning it into a headlamp, adding the extension tube for the bigger battery, and it also comes with a wave sensor. You can hook a wave sensor to the back, and if you have it for a headlamp, you can just wave your hand next to the sensor and it'll automatically turn on and off. So that's another option that they have with the light, which, you know, I guess it allows all that flexibility. So if you buy the light and then you decide, hey, I want to use it as a headlamp, I think it's like $9 for the mount. And I'll put a link in the description to what the different options you can get for this light. But all in all, I think it's a good little light. For 24 bucks, they have, you know, 1800 lumens for a small period of time, and then a running, you know, a main running on medium of 400 lumens for an hour and 30 minutes. I think most of the time I'm going to be in like the 150 lumen range. I'm not going to be trying to light up the whole woods. I'm just going to be trying to see what's in front of me. But I do have the option to get brighter at you know, just a single click away. Actually, one click hold cycles through all the modes. What do y'all think of the little Wuben, guys? I think it's a well-made. I like the way that it's engineered. I like the styling on it. It's just a little different, right? You know, you have different lights. Like this one is just, you know, kind of normal what you see in a flashlight. And then if you compare it to its little brother, you know, you have the Wuben G5. And this one's just, you know, it's not as thin, but, you know, it's a small compact package. This is about the size of a Zippo. So it's a little bit fatter, but all in all, a good light, guys. What do you think? Let me know your comments. I like the Wuben lights. So far, I've been satisfied with the ones I've bought. This is no different. And I like the fact that they come in the OD green. That's my favorite. I'm trying to put a couple kits together in the OD green, and it was awesome that they had that color available. They also have black. So if you wanted a black one, you could get it in a black, which there's nothing wrong with a black one. I think I would like to get one of those too. But I like it because I can extend the battery life on it. This, I'm stuck with what it is. A lot of other lights that I have, the battery life, you know, is what it states. This one, I have the option to go with a bigger battery if I wanted to. And I have plenty of these lying around, so I have a couple of the small ones, but I have more big ones than I do anything because most of the lights that I had at one point in time took the bigger batteries. Let me know what you think, guys. That's going to do it for this video. Like I said, this is a Wuben E7 rechargeable LED flashlight. Do me a favor, guys, like always, like, share, subscribe, click all those notifications. We do have our merch shop up. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is to buy merch. We do have subscriptions available if you want to subscribe and be part of the Whitty's Outdoor Net or the Whitty's Gear Network. We'd appreciate that. We do have a buy me a coffee. If you feel like you want to do something through that platform, that's also available. But all in all, guys, I would appreciate it if you just watch, share, like, and subscribe. Like I said, guys, love you. We'll see you on the next one.